When I record podcasts, I like to stay hydrated. Who knew talking could be so hard? My favourite drink to have to hand is Lifeline's Hydro OG. It's a tried and tested product for me. It helped me and my team complete a 24-hour podcast, giving us the edge that we needed to get over the finish line. So whether you're at the gym, on a bike ride, or just trying to get over that night before, Lifeline's Hydro OG has got your back. Each serving is stocked with all the healthy ingredients and vitamins you could ask for. There are a great range of flavours, and with each serving at only 18 calories, you really can't go wrong. Here at the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast, we like to support local, independent companies and brands, and Lifelines is a product that I am proud to endorse. Go to lifelines.com. Now that's LYFELINEZ.com to find out more. Now, without further ado, here is today's episode. Hey guys, and welcome to this great episode of the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast, featuring Suzy Shorrock from Girls Get Lean. Make sure you check out Girls Get Lean on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you do your socials, especially if you're a woman of menopause age, looking to get fit and looking for advice, and people like you that you can speak to. Susan's great. She's awesome, and she was a guest that I've been on my list for a while, and it took us a long time to organise this, but I'm so glad that we did. Now, listen, right? Since this podcast was recorded like 3 weeks ago, there have been a few developments in my life. Okay, I won't spoil the episode, but there is a part where I get pressured into doing a bit of exercise during this episode, right? And I didn't do too bad, in all honesty. But I also got peer pressured into starting the gym, going back at the gym, in a good way. And I'm very, very glad that this happened. And it sounds daft, but 3 weeks in, I'm absolutely loving the gym, smashing my cardio, lost 7 kilograms. Kilograms? I'm American then. Talking to Tom Bruno too much, that is. 7 kilograms. And I'm absolutely loving it. Now, what happened was I was speaking to Lincoln Davis about the colour run. The very famous Lincoln Davis colour run, which happens on the 1st of April this year. And I said, of course we'll be there to cover it, but I'd also like to run it. It's 5 kilometres. I smash 5 kilometres on the cross trainer, or even more than that on the bike, obviously, at 12 kilometres on the bike. I do that. And I thought it'd be great it'd be easy, not easy, but something I could accomplish. So I went to the gym. It was yesterday as I'm recording this, and I thought, I'll try running. Let's get some running going. Now, last summer, I tore 2 ligaments in my ankle really badly. They were my ankle was black, it was blue, and then where the ligaments had been torn, there were like bruised lines all down. It was horrible. I couldn't walk on my ankle for a while. I had a boot on and everything. And this was the first time I tried the treadmill since then. And I 5 minutes on, I was fine, and then all of a sudden this searing pain came in my ankle. I had to stop. I was so annoyed because I was like, oh my god, I just signed up to the colour run and I can't run on a treadmill. Crazy. But then I jumped on a bike. Now with the bike, I used my quads to push the legs down and stuff, so it wasn't any pressure on my ankle. And I was so angry with myself, so angry, and so people are going to make fun of me because I can't do the run. And I smashed all my records on the bike just because I was so angry during this workout. So it proved to me that I can do it and I am fit. I just got a dodgy ankle, so I need to sort out some physiotherapy or something on my ankle. I don't know, but running's just not for me at the moment. Anyway, so the colour run, please, if you want to take part, please get in touch. Go to the Lincoln Davis website, lincolndavis.co.uk, and book your place in for the colour run. We will be there with cameras, microphones. I want to get interviews with you guys. I want to get some smiley faces. That's what I want to get this year at the colour run. We've never covered it before, but I want to do it this year. So yeah, that's the colour run. Now, the original intro to this this podcast was meant to be some audio we collected from a celebration of SYST, 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 and that's Shropshire Youth Support Trust. We went to a great celebration that they put together at the Flax Mill, me and Verity. We did get some great interviews. Now, the problems with these interviews was, one, we got too many. It would have been a good half an hour before you'd even heard this episode, despite this rumbling as well. So I'm going to put that as a separate episode, its own episode. And also, there's some troubled audio that I need to fix. I recorded the speeches from afar with my H6, which is normally fine. Highly flammable. The speeches I got from there that I recorded the same way. I thought it wouldn't be a problem. We have got a new solution for it, which we can put into place from now on. But in the background of these great speeches was a deep hum of the air conditioning and the fridge as well, doing that panic like la, 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 startup thing that they do. So that audio is kind of corrupted, and it's going to take a bit of time to fix. I might have to put it in a quarantine bad audio zone in the podcast and let you hear the speeches, because there's one which is really, really moving. So we'll do that with that. But again, Shropshire Youth Support Trust, go to their website, systbusiness.co.uk. That's systbusiness.co.uk. Great charity, doing great things with young people and transforming lives. And it was a real pleasure to meet so many people there. And I finally got an interview with a High Sheriff as well, Selena Graham. She's wonderful. She really is genuinely a wonderful speaker, and she's been avoiding me this whole year, and we haven't been able to get her on microphone, but I managed to grab her. So thank you, Selena, for that. And she was really great to speak to, and she's done a great job this year as well. Anyway, without further ado, guys, me and Verity are now going to be speaking to Suzy Shorrock, an amazing lady who's done amazing things, and I can't wait to share this with you. So yeah, without further ado, let's do it. Hi guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley, and I'm here today with Verity White.
Hi, how are you doing?
You're very quiet. Why are you very quiet? Let me turn you right up.
I don't know. That's never been said about me before.
I've turned this up. You're right. What were we just talking about? We were just talking about something, and it's just completely gone out of my head. Oh yeah, Camp Festival. So yeah, we've they got in touch. So Verity. Verity is going to be at Camp Festival. The biscuit will be there, but let's be honest about it, I'll be in Turkey. It's such a crazy thing to happen, because Camp Festival is one of the biggest events to happen in Shropshire, and they were like, "Yeah, do you want to open up one of our stages?" And we were like, "What?" And it was an amazing opportunity. But my wife booked us a holiday to go in Turkey, so I'm not going to be here. But I was like, I really want the biscuit to do this. So I was like, Verity, you've only been with, I think at the time, like a week.
Yeah, I think it was.
Do you want to stand in front of hundreds of people and open up a stage? And she's like, all right then.
Sounds good to me. I'll give it a whirl.
So they messaged us today and they were like, we need to know what you need. So if they've technically asked us for a rider. We were just talking about this with Chase and Mallory.
I love that, because when we were talking with Chase and Mallory, I think I decided on my rider I would have a fluffy onesie and Paolo Nutini and Harry Styles in each corner, just singing at me.
Yeah, I've
thought about that a lot since. If I was in a room with Paolo Nutini and Harry Styles singing, I would never want to leave that room.
Yeah.
So can you ask them?
It's a Shrewsbury Biscuit. And you were like, no, they're not coming up.
No. Sorry, I'm busy.
So yeah, I've got to send them logos, and we've got to send a little bio and all that sort of stuff. So we will be at Camp Festival. Verity will be at Camp Festival. So if you are going to Camp Festival and you see the Shrewsbury Biscuit there, please come say hello. We'll have mics there, and we're going to organise an interview with Rob the Bank as well, who the organizer, who I didn't realise I was speaking to for weeks on it, which is great. Right, so for today's episode, we're speaking to Suzy Shorrock, who this has been such a long time in the making. This podcast has, and I felt so awkward about it, because October, was it October, November, something like that?
It was hello first.
Hello.
It was October.
It was October.
Yeah, the second week of October, I think, before I stepped on stage.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, Susan, let's get some footage of you getting ready for this competition. And so I came to your gym and I recorded you getting ready, and we did a great chat with you talking about the shoes and the outfits and stuff, which was really, really wonderful footage. But then the world exploded for me. The shoes people that listen to the show will know that sort of Christmas, New Year was insane for us. Like the world just exploded, and everyone's like, "We want the biscuit here, we want the biscuit there," and I was just kind of like, so that footage sat on my laptop up until now, doing nothing. So, as far as Susan's concerned, I'm just this guy who went, "Can I come and record you at your gym, please?" So I'm really sorry that's what's happened.
It did. We didn't get to finish the fitness.
No, but we can, and this is what there's something similar happened. Something similar happened with KG Theatre. I signed up Timmy for KG Theatre in Sunderland, and he went and did a session, and we recorded the session, and I got to know Kyle quite well, who runs that. And then Timmy sort of, I don't know, there's something that it just didn't happen. We couldn't get our schedules right. Timmy wasn't fit. And then we ended up going back 6 months later, and we did 6 months later, and it's actually really, really nice. So we can definitely do before the competition. I'm sure you've got footage somewhere on your phone or something of the competition.
I have.
Of the competition, and then this is you now. So we can use that. But I think what we need to do is introduce you right from the very beginning. Are you Shropshire born and bred, or are you?
I'm not. I'm actually a Lancashire lass.
Oh wow!
I am. I'm a Wigan lass.
Oh, you can hear a bit of a
Can
accent. A little bit of twang, yeah.
It comes out occasionally. Generally, when I go back home.
Yeah, it gets stronger.
Yeah, it gets a lot stronger. Yeah.
How long have you been?
I grew up there, and I only left there when I went to university. I went Yorkshire way, actually. I went to the other side. And so I spent a couple of years in Sheffield, and I studied, bizarrely, international business with Spanish. So I actually spent 2 years living in Spain after that.
Oh
Wow.
So I am.
So my wife isn't here. She's from Colombia. She's Spanish. Well, that's not Spanish. She'd murder me if she heard me. She speaks Spanish. Yeah.
So hablo un poquito de español too.
That sounds fancy.
We talked about this at the kids festival. The only Spanish I know is very cringy, flirty. Oh, I can order a beer. I can say "Pachi Pasi Los Dedos," which is finger licking good. Which is KFC's slogan. But if you say that to a woman, probably going to get slapped.
Yes.
I can say "Estas morica." I can say silly little things. That means you're yummy.
Little phrase.
Little things, you know.
You know all the slang stuff.
Yeah. I remember, okay, so this may be a swear word that we don't usually include on Shrewsbury Biscuit, but one of my favourite songs by the Red Hot Chili Peppers is Cabron. And from a very young age, my little boy, Timmy, is from 18 months, would sing Cabron, Cabron. And we went to Colombia, and we went to see the family in Colombia, and he was singing Cabron, and they were going, oh, they were getting really like shocked, because that's like, it's like, all right, wanker. It's like that, all right, wanker. It's kind of like that kind of, yeah. It's not very, it's
outrageous.
It's like
your little toddler was.
It's like, all right, dickhead. I'll beep these out, but that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, it is.
And I had no idea. We were singing it loud in my car. I had no idea. My wife was like, "Why are you listening to that song?" I was like, "We listen to the car all the time." I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. So when did you come to Shropshire? What made you come?
Work. Yeah, I moved to Shrewsbury through a guy that I met when I was at university. And I got a job in Smethwick, unfortunately, in Birmingham, because I went into the international distribution scene. So I worked for, they're now DPD, but it was Parcel Line, the green vans.
Oh, wow.
So I worked for them, and I got promoted to the international call centre manager, and Smethwick was the main hub. So I moved this way to be, near work.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because we talk about Shrewsbury and the connections here, how there's like cities, and then there's the seaside, and then there's, there's sort of, you can do anything whilst living in Shrewsbury, can't you? Quite easily.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the journey was horrendous. It was hitting the M6 to Smethwick every day and back. It wasn't great. But my hobby and my passion was fitness, and it all through that time. It started at college when I was 16, so
I've really been into it that long. Not the bodybuilding side, but certainly fitness. I did my aerobics instructor course quite young. I used to teach it at college as well.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of always been ingrained in you to have that routine. And
yeah, like Verity, I ran for years until I was 47.
I wouldn't say I've run for years, but thank you so much.
But I was a runner. My daughter was 2 when I started running, and she's 22 now. So 15 years I was a runner.
Oh, can I get some tips?
Yeah, of course.
Excellent, thanks.
And that's a tip. But I stopped when I was 47. That was when I went into bodybuilding. Yeah,
Well,
kind of went. That's where
47
we're
years
getting
old.
into the menopause.
yeah.
So up until that point, you were working for Parcel Force?
No, I left there. I started there in 1993 and I left end of 1998. And I decided I wanted to go into the personal training because that was what my husband did at the time, and or ex-husband, I should say.
Yeah.
But let's leave that one there. But no, it's that. So at 1999, I did my personal training course, and then in the year after, I decided to do my nutrition qualification. And I had my daughter, so I kind of did it. Thankfully, it was a home study as well, so I managed to do it over a 2-year period, and I became a nutritionist. So that's where that's
interesting, isn't it? Because they're the two edges of the sword, aren't they? The fitness and the nutrition.
Yeah,
Got to get both
I
right.
think the nutrition for me was more of a passion for me than the fitness, really. I'd suffered a lot of irritable bowel problems and things like that while I was working because my job was so stressful. I ended up having quite a long period of time off because I became quite poorly, and when I went to the doctors they gave me steroid tablets to make me better, and I read the packet and I just thought no. So I decided to go into looking at how I could make myself better, and that's how it started with the nutrition. So I decided I needed to, help myself, and then wanted to help others as well. So that's where it all started, really, nutrition-wise for me.
And you do an awful lot, especially women sort of your age and starting later on.
Yeah,
when it comes to menopause and fitness.
So when I didn't know I was in perimenopause, I don't think, and I think there's a lot more information now. Certainly since the Davina McCall, program, and that's moving into that scene with her coming on and making a big thing of it in the media. Before that, I don't think there was anything to tell anybody what to do, how to do it, and certainly I don't think the GPs know an awful lot about menopause at all. So, and I certainly didn't either. Even as a nutritionist, it wasn't an area of expertise for me.
Because there's so much talk about puberty for kids and like the changes to their body, but there doesn't seem to be so much talk about what happens to people when they get older. It's
exactly, and I don't actually think people know what menopause actually means. A lot of women don't actually know that it is the cessation of their periods, and that actually happens. Menopause, you are in menopause when you actually haven't had your cycle for a continuous period of 12 months.
Okay.
So, though I don't think women even know that. A lot of women don't even know that, really.
And that's the perimenopause.
Perimenopause is the period up to being full menopause, which is not having a period for a full 12 months. Not having your menstrual cycle for 12 months. So up to that point, you're in perimenopause, or can be.
It's a bit... I'm not sure, because I've had cancer treatment, and as a result of that, I've had my ovaries and everything removed, and I've been on hormone suppressors for 2.5 years now. So I was in a medically induced menopause. And now I'm in the menopause. But my body is responsible because it happened so suddenly. There was no gradual process for my body. It just happened, bish bash bosh, that's it, I'm in the menopause. That my body, I've struggled with it quite a lot. I've had the side effects absolutely hammer me. And that's sort of my own fault. They offered me a gentle medication to take for 10 years or a harder hitting one for 5 years. And I thought, I'd do it. I'll take the 5
smash
year
it.
one.
I can imagine that's your attitude, actually.
I'll just do it. I'll get it done, get it out of the way. But no, it's the way it's affected my bones, my skin, my strength, my stamina, everything.
I think it's tough for cancer patients because they're thrown into menopause, you know.
That is on the back of having treatment as well. So I was also recovering from that. So I'm not entirely sure.
I think the treatment exacerbates menopause symptoms as well with cancer patients, because I've had a few cancer clients that I've worked with, I think, when you're thrown into it like that, it's really difficult, isn't it, to understand what's going on and what to do. So I think your body just almost goes into a spasm, really, doesn't it? You know, you're just like, oh my God, this is happening. And, you know, you're just struggling to understand what the symptoms are, because I think a lot of menopause symptoms assimilate to other conditions as well, and other feelings of fatigue or...
Well, I wasn't sure what was menopause and what was treatment induced. I wasn't sure where the line was. It was pretty blurred.
There's almost 50 known symptoms of menopause, which is huge, very varied, from tingling fingers to obviously the usual brain fog, night sweats, hot flushes,
tick tick tick
tick tick tick. Yeah. And I think the hot flushes and the night sweats, that side of it is common with cancer patients when they're thrown into menopause.
Yeah, I like them.
Sweats. The sweats are
I've grown very fond of them.
Yeah,
they're just a part of who I am now.
Is it sarcasm? I don't know. I mean,
definitely sarcasm. They are a part of who I am.
I mean, I've heard
love them.
That's the most common one I've heard of is the
night sweats,
hot flushes and stuff like that. Because I used to work with a lady. I'm not going to mention her name, but she was always cold. Always had a cardigan on or had something around her neck, and she'd always have the heating up, and we'd always be like sweating. She'd be like, "Oh, it's cold in here, isn't it?" And we were like, "No." And apparently that was because of her menopause. And I felt, I felt like it feels like it's something that we should be able to talk about, but it feels like something you shouldn't ask about. Is that kind of like the mentality?
I think that's the mentality in society at the minute. But I think, people like me are the people that and Davina McCall are trying to reverse that, really, and make it easy for men and women to talk about it. Because I don't think I've been going into and working with companies, doing menopause workshops to help staff and managers, work through the menopause. And I found the men a lot more open than actually the women to talk about it.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be the other way around, but it wasn't. It was actually the women that found it a little bit harder to talk about it, even though, there weren't any men in the room. I guess
when it comes to guys talking about it, I mean, me talking about the colleague I used to work with, I can just throw that out there and be like, I'm not going to mention a name, but this is how she behaved. Whereas, ladies, yourself might feel a bit self-conscious about some of your symptoms. Maybe it's not something you want to talk about, And
I think that's what it is. I think women feel embarrassed about their symptoms because some of them are quite debilitating. I think it's that from that point of view that they don't feel that they want to share that with, certainly not with a male manager anyway. Or
I'm sure it's pretty common to get the symptoms that you're just scared to talk about. I'm sure.
It is. There's a big group of very common symptoms of like the night sweats, the hot flushes, the brain fog, the emotional side.
I found I'm a lot more emotionally stable than I used to be. When I had periods, I really, really struggled emotionally. I struggled. Oh, I can't even explain it, but life was really confusing for me for like 10 days every month, and that was just really exhausting. But now I'm fairly constant, pretty level. The only thing that affects it is tiredness, which I get sometimes, but that's just life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I find that I'm more stable on that.
I think it's the mood and the anxiety, and it's hard to describe unless you're in it. It's like a sense of loss. It's a feeling of women don't know where they are anymore. They don't know who they are anymore. And the sense of loss comes from the fact that they're losing and depleting the estrogen in the body and progesterone and the other hormones, testosterone as well. And it's a huge sense of loss.
I've been learning a lot about, I know this is completely different subject, a lot about guys and testosterone recently as well, because I've been watching Two Bears, One Cave, which is my favourite podcast of Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. I don't shut up about them really, but they're talking about Bert Kreischer's testosterone levels are like dangerously low, and I didn't realise that could be an issue. I didn't realise that was an issue, and I was like, okay, hormones are really important, right? Is the point I'm trying to make.
Hormones rule our lives, actually, yeah. We have, numerous hormones in the body, including the 3 sex hormones. But there's 3 types of hormones, and estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are the 3 sex hormones. Which obviously rule that side of our bodies. I think testosterone is a hormone that depletes certainly. Well, obviously for men and for women, but certainly depletes for women, obviously over the age of 35, 40, particularly over the age of 40. And I think women in particular have a huge issue with sarcopenia, which is the muscle loss in the body, and it degenerates quite rapidly decreases quite rapidly over the age of 40. And then obviously going into perimenopause with the hormones depleting as well. And one of them is testosterone. And HRT only contains estrogen and progesterone. So testosterone isn't part of that. And it's not readily available at the minute for women.
They can't be like, eat more bananas. Yeah, it's just, you've got to find ways to get it.
Yeah. No, you can have access. You have to pay for. You'd have to pay for testosterone at the minute, I think, and I hope at some point it will come back in. But that's where strength training comes in, because strength training helps and assists the body to produce more testosterone again, and you get it for shorter periods of time. But obviously, the continuation of you building strength training into your life.
And this is where your evolution as a bodybuilder and the journey you've been through is really, really important, because you can share your journey and help others, right?
It is, but that was inadvertent actually, because when I first started bodybuilding when I was 47, I obviously didn't know I was in perimenopause until, because when you compete, you can lose your periods anyway. You go into amenorrhea when you do the severe dieting. So I didn't have a period for a very long time, and I assumed it was because of bodybuilding. And then obviously I realised that actually, when I came out of the competing, then we go back into building your periods back up again. Mine just didn't come back, and I realised I was in menopause.
Were you doing things? I'll ask this question, then I'm going to go and get my camera so I can still hear. But were you doing things that you definitely shouldn't be doing when you're in perimenopause?
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, competing is not for the faint-hearted. It's tough. Prep is very, very tough on the body. It isn't the healthiest thing generally. Certainly the 16-week period we do when we're leading into stage, it's it's not healthy on the body. But that's where the coaching and the knowledge that you have, and you have a really good prep coach that allows you to feed yourself well, that nutrition-wise, supplement-wise particularly, that you manage your rest and your recovery, and you do a lot of that, and you go into stage as healthy as you possibly can. But as an issue for menopause or perimenopause, I don't think so. No, I don't think.
Do you think you doing that was helping that stage of life that you're in, helping being in the perimenopause?
I think strength training for me, I think it changed my life. I think I didn't have any symptoms at all, like the ones that you're having. I have had none of those. I've not had flushes. I haven't had anything. I feel lately maybe as going deep into menopause now. I feel the brain fog thing where I know I've got to write things down, and and I was like, is that an age thing? So I'm actually 53, and I'm like running 3 aspects of my business. I've got one-to-ones, I've got my group training, I've got my online coaching, and I've got my menopause. I've got like 3 or 4, parts to my business, and, managing all 4 of those. I'm busy. I've got to write stuff down. So I think a lot of things are put down to the menopause maybe that don't need to be. But
it's just a handy excuse.
I think it's a handy excuse, isn't it? I think if you don't know where your car keys in the morning, you find them in the fridge, then that's menopause, isn't it? That's very brain foggy.
Let's hope so.
When you're rushing out the door and you've made your lunch and you forget it, is it life or is it menopause? That's the problem. And I think that is fundamentally the problem, that we don't know, because we are busy now. Women are very busy. They lead very busy lives, don't they? They're running the home, the kids, and trying to work. And if you're trying to work at the same time, then we are very, very busy, aren't we? And I think we forget sometimes how much we do. Yeah,
and I feel like that's psychologically, it can be a dangerous thing to go down. You know, I was talking about like sort of Christmas and how things got really busy for us at the Biscuit. You know, taking on too much it really affected me. Like it was really hard to sort of get back on track. And I guess with you, because you got your own personal training to worry about, you got a business to run, and you had your competition that we've got.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm being great today, aren't I? Going and getting the camera, down the thing, sneezing down the mouth. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get a job, and I'm sending links to people. I'm like, yo, listen to my amazing audio on the podcast. And they're going to listen to this episode and be like, never giving him a job, ever. Yeah, so trying to fit so much into your life, how do you manage to do that without driving yourself insane, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not sure I am insane. If you're sane, you're not normal, are you? I'm unstable.
Okay, I like that.
Ridiculously unstable.
How many notepads have you got on the go?
About 4.
Excellent, good.
Yeah.
I
I write everything down. I make notes. I get up very early in the morning. I plan the night before. I prep my food.
Oh, it must take so much.
Prepping an organisation became a massive part of my life the night before, and right back to the, you know, when do you get your food in, when you do your food shop, having all of that. You can't be a competitor and an athlete without that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At all. Organisation and prep is huge, right? And down to the, you know, I've got a pill pot. I put my pills in every day, my supplements, and taking those because those are supplementations. Very, very important when you're competing.
Talking about the competing. Let's talk about this competition, because it is massive. It was a national competition you went for.
Yeah, so that one there, that was my qualifier in Manchester. That was September. That was that was the 4th of September. I qualified for the British finals in October 2021, and I was going to compete in 21, and then I didn't. Life took over, business was busy, lots of things happening. So, I didn't feel my physique was up to it. And I'd always said to myself that I would never step on stage because it's harsh on the body, it's expensive, it's not a cheap thing to do. And I didn't want to waste my time or my coaches and stand there and do it if I didn't feel like I could win, because I'm a very competitive person as well. So.
I imagine there's got to be a lot of that when you, because to get to where you're meant to be, I guess it's got to be a lot of, not mental torture, but you are against you, aren't you, when you're in the gym?
It's only you against you. It isn't you against anybody else, and anybody stepping on stage for any other reason.
I mean, the focus and the determination that you must be able to muster. That, I mean, I can just about go on a small run, and it's an effort to do that.
Tough. It's tough when you come out of your off season, which is where I am now. When you come out of your off season and you've gone from a little bit of flexi eating and lots of food, and then you go, right, 16 weeks, this is it.
Wow.
You now have 4 to 6 litres of water a day. All of your meals are literally micromanaged to the gram. So you weigh every single item of food.
I don't think I could be disciplined enough.
Well, I'm on the keto diet, and I'm struggling with like 20 grams of carb or 30 grams of carbs, whatever it is. So like that would I'd be like, the sweet curry sauce from McDonald's, is that a dip or no? Will it? Do you know what I mean? Like, so I guess that takes a lot of discipline. Yeah.
It does, right down to, you know, the teaspoon of peanut butter. There's no guessing. It's weighed.
Wow.
The apple weighed. The banana weighed.
How long does it take for a competition like you were doing? How long does it take to start preparing? Like a year, 6 months? How long?
I think it depends where you are, as you know, physically as an athlete. If you've already been training for a long time, I only started strength training when I was 47.
And this is what inspire me so much, because I'm 36 years old. I'm thinking, I'm back. I shouldn't really say this on the podcast, but I'm back at the gym on Monday. I'm going to go and have a run and see how I feel and just get back into it. Because when I was, a few years ago before I moved to Shrewsbury, I was very fit. I was running 4K a day.
Yeah, I think you told me when you came over, didn't you?
Did I show you the pictures when I used to go to the gym? I was super skinny, super fit, and then
then life,
and then I put lots of weight on. I
haven't seen your skinny photo. Please share.
That's me.
Look at that.
Oh,
She's
wow.
all jawline.
Oh my goodness.
That's me with
a
normal body.
Wow.
I look like a completely different person. That's me and Kaz, my wife.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I keep them photos just to be like, see, that's what you
can do it.
Once,
You can do it.
This is me with pecs and stuff, and
you can do it.
I'd like to get back to that, and I used to think, you're 36, man. You're like, that's it. That's it now. You're going to be.
I think there's things
ugly, but not.
I think your life. There's things in your life that have to be stable, isn't there, in order for you to move into things like that, and you have to be right in the right mindset, don't you? In the right place.
Yeah,
you have to be ready and want to, and otherwise it doesn't happen. Because I've worked with hundreds and thousands of women, helping them lose weight, and the one thing that I know, and I ask them when they walk through my door is, Are you ready?
Yeah, and that's
Is your head ready? Is your mindset ready?
Do you know what? I feel like I've been ready for a long time, but my previous relationship, we had different ideas of how we wanted to live. And at the time, I didn't realise how conflicting and silly that was. Now it's over. I'm not up against anything. I can live how I want to live and choose my lifestyle. And I am choosing to be healthier and more active and work out more. And I feel really good about it. But I've always wanted to do that for the last few years before I got ill as well. I've always wanted to live like that, but I didn't have the lifestyle supporting me around me to help facilitate that. So it was never consistent for me. You've got a very supportive wife, Alex.
I do, yeah.
You don't have this excuse.
I'm very lucky. My wife, I was like, I've got a podcast tomorrow. Got Suzy Shorrock coming on. She's like, okay. Yay! A lot of people's wives would be like, "What? You didn't even tell me!" But she's great. Yeah.
I do. I agree, Verity. I think you've got to have a huge support network. And
people around. One of my closest friends, Becky. She did spin at your
Becky
gym.
Lou.
Becky, yeah.
Oh, we do.
Yes. So
you did, didn't you? You came, didn't you?
I did come, a few times.
And when you walked in the door, and I thought, I know that lady. Yes, I do. She covers for me.
Yeah. She's fabulous. But people with that sort of mindset, that's I wasn't surrounded with them. I am now.
I like things like this. One of the podcasts I used to really enjoy was Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, because I love Kevin Smith and I love Jason Mewes. They made Clerks and Mallrats and Jay and Silent Bob. And, Jason Mewes ended up with a really bad drug habit, right? And he went into rehab, he got from recovery. And the idea of this podcast was to check in every week and be like, are you okay? Are you sober? Are you doing well? And then it went on to getting like hundreds of people turn up every week to come to see this thing. Then it went the world tour. So then he had thousands of people around the world checking in with Jason Mewes every week. Are you okay?
That is lovely.
Yeah, and he's been sober ever since. He's doing really, really well. And I think that was imagine having a support structure of hundreds of thousands of people around the world, millions, in fact.
I think that many people.
I think it's proven, isn't it? I think the support network is proven to help people, whether it's, a drug or food or weight or whatever it is.
Whatever your vice is.
I think so, yeah, because I have a community, a WhatsApp community of women that, they join when they become a member of Girls Get Lean, my business name. And I can see, and even like today, it makes me smile, and I watch the women chatting with each other and sharing their journeys and sharing, that somebody's been on holiday and she fell off the wagon, and like the girls are going, you can do it, you've got this, let's get your water right, and, plan your food, and this is what I did that helped me, and, and they're chatting between themselves, and like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym later, and then, yeah, I've been this morning and I got my 10k steps in, and
I love that. It's fun.
And I absolutely, it's just like heartwarming for me to see, to be the person that brings these women together that are helping and supporting each other, because you do. I think you need support
Nice. Is that why you do like parkrun and stuff? So you're around similar people to you?
Yeah, I think so. I think it really
that's why
nice.
parkrun run works, because it's a community.
Yeah. And
you're around like-minded people, aren't you?
And I think that's key.
It is. And that was the same for me in bodybuilding. The most exciting thing for me was the people that I'd meet at the competitions and the women that I'd meet backstage, because it's like a family. It's very rare to have, any bitchiness or anything like that backstage. We all know and respect how hard we have worked to actually get to that point, to be there, to even be backstage. And it's respect to each and every one of them that's there. And we all respect each other, that whoever wins will win for the right reasons.
Oh, that's nice.
And the judging on the day, is objective, and we don't have any, part in what they decide. We just can bring our best. And so you will very often see the women hugging and celebrating and shaking hands with each other.
I guess it's because it's not like a contact sport or a sport like football where you're against each other. Like you said, you're all aware of the sacrifices that you guys have all made, and and not the trouble, but the effort, like you just said, that you put into it. So that's nice.
It's an enormous personal sacrifice, with family probably as well, personally, socially, and there's a lot that we give up to do that, and that's our choice, obviously. But, you can be, off season, and still, if you want to actually make an impression and do well on stage, then your off season is as important as the prep period as well. So, alcohol is not really something that we, include a huge amount in our diet, even on off season. It's, that's part of life, because alcohol does not work well with strength training and muscle growth.
Okay. Yeah, that's one I'll put on my list for Monday when I get to the gym.
Take the gin out your water bottle. Take the gin out your water bottle.
No rum this week. I'm looking at my phone because what I did is I've been asking people today questions. The question I've asked, and this is the Shropshire and Business Group. Alex McCarthy is a great life and business coach, and we went to one of her events. I couldn't go last night because I'd take Timmy to Taekwondo. Dad stuff, I couldn't go. But they meet up highly flammable business owners, and they talk about their business, and they sort of network and talk about familiar. It was quite nice when we went there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah. A nice evening.
Glad we couldn't make it last night. But I asked those guys if the question was, when it comes to fitness or any life success, because I feel like when it comes to being successful in life and in fitness, there's kind of similarities, I guess. Like, you've got to be driven to be able to run a business. You've got to be driven to be able to be fit. What's the biggest hurdle and how did you beat it? And Becky Lisney put... time is a massive hurdle, and it can be boring. I think she's talking about the gym. Cardio is the worst, and it's honest to God the most boring thing. I can imagine Becky saying this, actually. So I stick to weights when I do train, but it's time, money, and access to a gym. How do you respond to that? Like time and cardio and access to a gym, they are genuine things, aren't they?
They are genuine things. I think bodybuilding requires a gym. I think it's, I think in COVID, obviously, lots of people built up their own little gyms at home, didn't they? And acquired barbells and plates and goodness.
There's lots of like water bottles and stuff being turned into dumbbells. That was tins and.
It was amazing, actually, watching how people managed at home, because all these, completely avid, lifelong bodybuilders were, building spaces at home.
With chest reps with books.
I think it was incredible what the people actually did. And
yes.
I think what they realised, what they could actually achieve with a few dumbbells, tubes and a barbell and that sort of thing. So I suppose it is possible at home, but I think home, it's very difficult for people to train at home, because there's always too much other things going on, isn't there? I think men are better at that than women, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I think men are much more focused than women at home.
Do you know what? I think I'd rather be at the gym, though, because I don't have a lot of space here. I'd hate my wife to see me struggling doing press-ups in the lounge here.
I know.
She'd be like, you freaking idiot. She'd be looking like, what are you doing?
I'd actually quite like to see you do a press-up.
I was literally just thinking I'd love it.
I can do press-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to do a press up?
Yeah, come on, let's see.
It's been a while since I've done a press up. There we go. Oh my God, you're not going to take pictures, are you?
No, I wouldn't do that, Alex. Definitely not getting my phone out.
Yeah, we're going to post these.
My goodness, he's going. Have you been counting?
Don't do yourself an injury.
There you go.
Good
Yay.
form. Good form.
Amazing form. Well done.
I used to be.
Well done, mate.
I was hoping that would be a bit more embarrassing, but you did quite well there.
We were hoping you'd belly flop.
I've just done me a favour.
I would.
I got a runny nose from doing that. Who gets a runny nose after doing press ups? Oh my God. So what you're saying is
those are common barriers that I hear every single day of the week. Time, this, that, and the other,
and it's mundane at times.
It is mundane at times. There's days since I stepped on stage last year where I've been very demotivated, and I can always think of something else to do. But I also feel like the human race is very good at making excuses as well.
Yes,
and I think we all have time.
Especially those human beings that are named Whiteley. I mean,
I think we all have time. I think it's the motivation and the focus that's, the biggest challenge for a lot of people, and the consistency to continue that. I think we all have time. We choose whatever we want to do with our 24 hours in a day, don't we?
It's reshuffling.
It is. Whether we get up an hour earlier, because I know people that go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, and there are gyms that are open all night, aren't there now, 24 hours?
Yeah.
And whether you then choose to use your lunch break by sitting there or going out for a walk and getting your steps in, or whether you have to go straight home at night with the kids. And I think the biggest factor for a lot of men and women as well, or women and men, I should say, is the children and the things that happen around the children. I'd say the children for me was probably a massive barrier. And I think you need a very supportive family if you're even contemplating being an avid fitness fanatic or bodybuilder to do that. So.
The feeling of satisfaction you get from going for a run or going to the gym, or I do miss that, and I feel like it'll definitely help my mental health, because there'll be days like tomorrow, I have an awful lot to do tomorrow, so I'm just going to be like, wandering around the apartment like
the gym. I think you should do it.
I was going to start Monday. I suppose I could do.
There's a phrase that we have in the fitness industry: tomorrow never comes.
Okay, we'll go to the gym tomorrow. I'll send you a picture.
Monday's never going to happen. You've just got to
just do it.
Like today, I said to my girls,
stop, email or phone. Stop. Google just. What happened there?
I said to my girls today, there's a negative and a positive mindset, isn't there? You can say, I'll try, or I might be able to, or I'm not sure I can do that. And I said, I can, I will, I am. Those three phrases, I can, I will, I am. And if you use those and you treat them like affirmations every day, I think the mantra is that you will change how your brain processes what you can and can't do. And I think if you tell yourself you can't, you won't. If you tell yourself you can, you will. And I think that it's a very different mindset. And I think the result from that is going to be very different than the result from you saying, I might go tomorrow, I might go Monday. I'm going tomorrow. And I'm going Monday.
I'm going this evening.
Are you with me?
You are?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going after this.
You've just been for a run, though.
I know, and then I'm going to go to a class at the gym.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
I'm going tonight.
Oh, that's dedication.
I'm going to go after this.
Yeah?
There we go, look.
I do need to find
No pressure, Al.
See, I wish I had a bit more money, because the Bannatyne gin right here is amazing, and it's mega bucks, isn't it? But I'm at the Quarry and the and Sports Village, which are accessible. Yeah. They got a nice gym there. It's quite good. I could go for a swim as well at the Quarry if they can do parking stuff. Yeah, but then there's only like the one pool. Oh, okay, right. This is the thing, right? Downstairs in the swimming baths in the Quarry, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, not until I'm sorted. I'm not going to go swimming. Go in the swim pool.
Do you know what?
Where there's an actual gallery where people can sit and watch me swim.
I was at the gym the other day and I was in the sauna, and the sauna is quite a social place in my gym. Everyone chit chats and it's lovely. And there were two guys in there who were chatting about their girlfriends, and both of them were saying, like, I don't know the names, but they won't come in here. They won't come swimming or come in the sauna. They just stay in the gym because they're too paranoid about what they look like in a swimming costume. And it made me feel so sad because I thought, I'm here, I've had my boobs taken off. I am not a typical looking woman.
Yeah, but this is why you're a warrior and you're an absolute...
She is a warrior.
But I just thought, if I can sit here...
I don't think you understand how amazing your mind actually works. I mean, because
I don't know about that.
I love that.
But I just felt like going, where are your girlfriends? Let me go and have a chat with them. For goodness sake, come on, girls.
I want to do the same.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with the quarry, there's like a bit with chairs where people sit and watch.
Can
and I'd be
I
like,
say,
and I'm a good swimmer as well. I've got like swimmer.
Nobody cares what you look like.
No.
Okay.
They don't. Everyone's too concerned about what they look like. They're thinking about how their people are looking at them, and we don't care how they look like either.
No, I don't think you should give a flying.
Okay, right.
I don't want to burst your bubble. No one's looking at you. No one cares.
I did have a game plan, so like I'm doing really well on keto. I mean, like I've got like definition in my face and stuff now, which is great, and I'm really happy about that. And normally I don't care about what I look like, but when I'm doing something like press ups or when I'm at the gym or swimming, and people are sort of
they were awesome. You looked great. You look fab.
You look great doing them press ups.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't take.
Right, let's get another question.
I won't send it to you.
Send it to me. Send me the video. I want to check my form. That's what I like as well. I was like mirrors and gym.
I was checking your form.
Yeah, that's because, and you can tell that I used to train, right? You can tell that I used to. I wouldn't say that I was like.
Yeah, so get out there, Al. Come on,
I can do it.
It'd make you feel better.
We got an answer from Stacey Oliver. She says, excitement. I lack the excitement feeling. I do yoga as it brings me to a calm space, and I enjoy cold water swimming because of the buzz. I'm fresh feeling after, but generic exercise doesn't bring me joy or excitement. Making it childlike and fun is the best way to combat that for me. Make me giggle and I'm in and achieve goals. So I guess that's adapting the exercise to fit with your persona, right? Who you are.
I think we all have our own likes and dislikes, don't we? But I have had ladies come in through my door that have never strength trained before, and I make my classes really good fun. We have a lot of fun, particularly on Friday nights. We have a buzz on a Friday night and a laugh, and they work really hard, and they don't know they're working really hard. The banter's fantastic. They leave through the door and they can't wait to come back next week. And
that's that wax on, wax off thing, isn't it?
It is an absolute wax on, wax off.
Yeah, because they didn't realise you're training when you're doing it. We did have another one, but it's on Facebook. It looks like I'm looking at my phone, but I'm not.
That's right.
And this one is from our good friend Jane Pickworth, who's a good friend of ours. And she put, we've got another one. Oh, it's Sal Tong saying she's looking forward to listening to this. Oh, thank you, Sal. Jane put, the biggest hurdle I always hit with is fitness is injury. I'm stuck at the moment with whiplash and I can't do weights or hula hoop. She likes it. She's a voice actress and she likes to hula hoop. And that's how she gets her core strength for doing the voices. Yeah. She's wonderful. She'll do hula hooping while she's on roller skates around the house. Like, she's wonderful.
I would break bones doing that for sure.
Yeah. And I asked for menopause tips. And Jane says, menopause tips balance with diet because our metabolism slows down. And I've noticed I don't burn calories like I used to. But I also believe it's a mindset. I will be in control of my body and ride those hormones.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's definitely diet. I definitely believe exercise and diet are a massive part. I watched the menopause doctor do a video on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, and she said she got women coming in saying that they didn't feel like they should feel the need to change their diet or exercise, and the thought of exercise was just horrifying. And why are we telling these women that are going through all of this that they need to think about exercise first? And I'm like, what? So obviously I made a statement on the thread and I got a lot of response back, and I'm thinking, well, actually, hang on, you feel the way that you do because your diet isn't very good. Yeah. And you don't have any energy because you're not making your body do anything.
Overload on carbs every day.
And if you don't address your diet, then you are going to feel, that make the symptoms worse. Menopausal symptoms are 60% worse if you are obese or overweight. And that's a huge statistic. So for me, I think I anybody that walks through my door, I make sure that they learn about nutrition and fitness first and exercise. And then if you still feel like your symptoms are bad and you can't cope, with the night sweats or what's happening to your body, and you still feel the need to, explore HRT, then absolutely at 100 I am in with HRT. It's not a magic pill. And I think there's a lot, on there. They've gone from not talking about it to talking about it and making the magic pill everything. So it's gone from one extreme to the other for me, because I don't think it is a magic pill. I know a lot of women that choose not to take it. I don't think our bodies were designed to have hormones in them forever. That's not the way that we were designed. We were designed to lose those hormones. And I think managing them, when you come out the other side, the body adapts to it, and it will adapt to it.
So what would be the difference in someone, like, generally, obviously we can't talk about individuals, but like someone that didn't take HRT and someone that did, like, what would happen? Would things slope quickly? And like, the menopause is a very individual journey. Of course. It's completely individual. And even with the best diet and the best fitness, some people can still really struggle and require HRT. So,
I was going to ask that, because with diets, there are certain foods and certain diets that will suit some people and not others. Exactly. And it's about finding the balance for the individual.
It is, because we've got so many hormones in our body that those are only 3 of them. There's a lot of other hormones at play. You've got cortisol, which is obviously which is pumped out from the adrenal glands, which is obviously functions in times of stress. Mm-hmm. And obviously stress factors right now, we have lots of different types of stresses, but lately we suffer a lot more chronic stress, don't we?
Yes.
Life is a lot.
Yes.
Life is a lot more stressful. And I think the cortisol is a hormone that affects testosterone for one as well. So there's lots of things that cortisol affects in when we're stressed. So I think that the lifestyle factors that somebody has, you don't know what, you can say change your diet, change your fitness, but it's the lifestyle factors as well that will also equally have an impact on that person going through peri and menopause as well, in terms of what they do about managing cortisol.
There were some things for me that became a bigger deal once I was menopausal. So if I hadn't drunk, I drink a lot of water, couple of litres a day minimum. But if I drank any less than that and was slightly dehydrated, my night sweats would be worse, and I'd wake up in the night several more times. And if I overate in the evening or ate too late, same again, my sleep's stupidly disrupted and I'm awake and my night sweats are terrible. So there are certain things that never used to affect or bother me, but with trial and error and going, how can I do that differently? Yeah. And I did feel a bit, I should have drunk some more or whatever. It's quite a hard journey sometimes, isn't it? Finding It
is. I think water, our bodies are made up of 60% water. So I think water for me is one of the first things I'd say, and for anybody in any health situation, that water would be the first thing I'd
up your intake.
I'd up to, yeah. For weight loss, for fatigue, cancer, everything. I think water has a massive part to play in the functioning of the body, because it makes the organs function well, and we can't function without water. The kidneys, the liver, all of that, and all of those obviously react, we react hormonally to those functioning well as well in the brain. And water's essential. The brain needs to be hydrated as well. So there's a lot of things at play. So water's like one of those things that I'd suggest everybody looks at, whatever their...
Are there any, and maybe some of the people that are listening to this might be able to answer this as well in the comments, whatever, but like, do you think there are pressures in society or peer pressure from your friends, things that are going on in our jobs and our day-to-day that are really bad for people with menopause that aren't addressed properly? Is there anything in our day-to-day that we probably need a bit more understanding with? Especially if you've got a friend that's going through the menopause right now, or going through the beginnings of menopause, what not to ask them and what not to suggest, or not be like, oh, come out for a few pints, not feeling well, well, come out anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, is there something we need to do a bit more of, or less of even?
I think we just need to be more understanding of menopause in general, don't we? And that I always say that you don't know what's going on behind closed doors for somebody. And I think, like the night sweats and that side of it is one of the most debilitating symptoms, I think, for menopause. And I think going out and sweating and, being out sweating, it's like I'm sweating right now, actually. But I mean, going out and sweating when you're on a night out or going out with friends and things like that. And at work as well, I think it's very debilitating at work. And it was one of the things that I talk about in the menopause workshops, in the staff and management workshops, is how to help staff feel better and just be understanding as to what is happening to them, to make it accessible for them to go to the toilets more, to be able to change, for them to understand, bring a change of clothes with you, that you can access and go to the toilet, have toilet trips a little bit more often. If you feel the need to work from home, then is there flexibility there for that person to work from home? But as a friend, I think it's an understanding thing, isn't it? And I think unless you have been through it, you don't know, but I think it's equally as important for that person that's going through the menopause to be open and honest as well and say, actually, I think I'm in menopause. I mean, I think we need to, attack it like any other, ailment or virus these days. It's like, I've got COVID. I'm in menopause. And
let's Google what's wrong with me. Oh my God, I'm dying. Oh, Alex, you got a cold. Oh no, it says on Dr. MD.
It's just the meno.
Yeah.
I'm in meno madness, and I trying to make it a little bit more lighthearted these days, and I think we should, because I think that way, see, talking to your friends and including your circle of friendships, in the social scene and the work scene is important.
I think understanding is really important for men and for women, because the amount of people I've spoken to where the female has gone through the menopause and the relationship has gone rocky or the relationship has broken down because there's a lack of understanding from both parties. So that the woman doesn't know that she's, that she's going, what she's going through, can't identify every step. And
no, it does.
Just a lot
it's a heavy thing in a relationship, because certainly if that partner's got anxiety and those sort of symptoms where you're anxious, paranoid, overthinking, where your brain runs overtime and you're not sleeping and you've got insomnia, so you're tired and you're fatigued, and then the cycle goes on. You're back to the following day where you're anxious again because you're that tired that you can't think straight, and it's just that constant cycle of, symptom of anxiety, I think. And I think that's quite a traumatic symptom of menopause that a lot of women that I come across deals with is anxiety amongst us, the brain fog, yes, but it's manageable, the brain fog. It's something that we can make fun of.
I've started 2 new jobs since I started the menopause, and I can tell you the brain fog has been a hurdle.
Has it?
Definitely. I think that's much slower learner now.
It is. That's one of my biggest things, and it's the moment of, like now, and stopping and thinking, oh Christ, what was I going to say then? And it literally goes out of my head. It would go out of my head, and that's tough for people in a business environment when they're doing presentations and things like that. They're talking in meetings, and you just think.
Did you ever get where you're literally in the middle of a sentence and you go,
all the time.
See, I don't get that anymore, but I can remember when I first got it, I thought my brain's broken. Will it ever be mended again? So that's gotten slightly less for me, but I can remember it was scary.
As you go through menopause and come out into post-menopause, it is supposed to get an awful lot better.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, I think these are important conversations that we need to have. And, I'd love to get you back on again to talk about menopausal issues, or we can get people on. We do like a proper workshop on the biscuit. That'd be really nice.
That'd be great. That'd be lovely. Helping other women is fantastic, isn't it? Because I think talking about it and sharing the love and spreading the word that it's okay to talk about it.
I mean, it might draw people towards Girls Get Lean, your business as well. Just the fact that they know it's a safe space to come and train, learn.
It is, and have somebody that knows what they're talking about. I think there's a lot of people coaching menopause, but I think you can't coach it well unless you've actually physically been through it yourself personally. I think it's very difficult. And, you know, coming across women now that I'm hoping to work with that also want to step on stage as well and are over 40, that the menopause and the perimenopause and the hormonal side and managing the hormones for women over 40 that want to compete is a massive thing for me to help, because there's a lot of young coaches out there that have absolutely no idea about how to help a woman train effectively, eat effectively and manage their hormones effectively whilst competing.
Yeah.
So,
super important.
You know, I went into bodybuilding and I didn't know any of that, and I've fluffed it through myself. I mean, obviously being a fitness instructor and, you know, a strength coach and a nutritionist has obviously stood me in good stead, but I do fear for a lot of women that are actually trying to do that and not getting the right knowledge and getting the right coaching.
But that's what I said earlier. You're proof in the pudding that you can do it later on in life, and you can succeed too.
And I think it's also proof that age is just a number, and that's been one of my biggest hashtags, you know, on my Instagram page at Suzy Online Coaching.
Incredible that at the age of 47.
And I started, so I'm 53 now. So I won the British finals last year at the age of 52.
Was that with every age as well? Like, was that across the board?
My category was over 35s.
But that's still incredible.
24 ladies in my category. And I'm also in the PCA Federation, which is one of the most traditional bodybuilding federations. And that's why I was really passionate about stepping on stage with them. That I'm a completely natural athlete, and I think, as you probably know from that I've never taken any drugs and I'm steroid free, and I'm really proud to say that I am. So to step on stage amongst probably 75% of those women that weren't natural generally, and actually win was an even bigger thing for me, for women. And for women over 35 as well, and even over 45 really. They don't have an over 45s category at PCA, so...
Is there something about bodybuilding that you carry around with you 24/7? Is there a certain way you hold yourself, or is there a mentality, or
power pose?
The reason I ask is I think I may have mentioned him to you before, but he's passed away now, bless him, Brian Connor. He's my wife's uncle. What's it called? Great uncle. There you go. And I know his brother as well, Peter. And he was a bodybuilder back in like the 60s in Wrexham. Like he was like when they were first starting to turn it into a sport. And when he was in his later stages in life, he'd be hunched over, and he'd walk past us. We used to live in Colombia, so we'd walk past, and he was great because he was like one of the only English speakers that I could speak to. And he'd just strike a pose, and he'd look amazing. I'm like, what? And then he'd go back to sort of shuffling past, and I'd be like, that is something that he's learned like back in the 60s, and he's just never forgotten it. You know, that's...
I don't think you're a bikini athlete if you don't do that.
Yeah, he's walked past the mirror and be like, still got it.
Hey.
Yeah, but is there something that you carry around with you 24/7 because of your training? Is it...
In what sense? Mentally or?
Mentality or physically? Is there a certain statue? Can you feel it when you don't go to the gym? Or, you know, like...
Oh, gosh, yeah, definitely. I feel it. But I'm equally, I think from that point of view, I am probably quite balanced in that I am aware that as much as it's a wonderful thing to step on stage, that we also need to be healthy and sociable. And
don't overdo it.
I don't overdo it. But there's a life outside of that as well that I choose to lead with my children and my partner, and so
that's very nice.
I've been through divorce myself, and come out the other side of that and seen life in a very different way, and obviously met somebody else and very happy and going through all of that. And he's also in bodybuilding as well, which has been wonderful. So I have somebody that's incredibly supportive to me and to my goal right now. But I also know that there's a side of life. There's so much to life, isn't there? When you realise when you've had, even like you, Verity, then you've had cancer, and there's an aspect to life that you can't miss.
Definitely.
And for me, I'm fully on both sides. I'm aware of both sides, and I want to live both sides. And in the best way that I can, healthy, but obviously having fun but also achieving my goals and inspiring other women.
What are your goals from now? Because you've achieved so much so far. What else have you got on your list?
For me, to continue inspiring women into strength training and fitness and being healthy, because I have, and I know what it's done for me, and certainly women over 40 going into perimenopause, and I want to continue to grow my business. Like you said as well, Al, earlier, about how passionate you are about the podcasting. And I think this is fab. So I'd love to, take the word and spread it as far and wide as I can in my business, not just in the UK, but internationally as well.
So are you going to chain out with Girls Get Lean, or have you done that? I mean,
obviously the online side is the world's your oyster, isn't it, really? And I've got clients in America at the minute.
Nice.
I've got clients UK wide as well, online too. And it's wonderful to, be able to touch people that far and wide through the online side, and have the website to back that up as well at the minute as well. But for me personally, I thought I was going to step away last year. I told everybody that was it. I'm going on stage, British finals, here we go, and then I'm done. But then when I won...
You did a Tom Brady. You're like, I'm retiring. Not anymore.
Yeah, it's like...
Change my mind.
It's like, Miss Britain? Maybe not. I'll just take that and ride with it. But I think for me this year, I suddenly realised, being a natural athlete, how massive that was for me to do, and what I've achieved as a natural athlete is actually quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
And my age.
I think everything you've done is phenomenal. I'm in awe of you.
100%.
And I would love to do something with that. We honestly, we spent a good hour and a half at your gym getting footage before, and this was you preparing for the competition. And I had genuine desires to use that footage to make something to show you who you are, because I was inspired by you. I wanted to inspire people with it, so we can find something to do with that footage, and we can, if you want us to me and Verity to come to the gym and see you getting ready, and whatever it is, we'll put it together.
I thought you meant
we could go through a training session together.
And we can do some training too.
I was like,
I was not thinking the training session together.
All right, okay, I'm up for that as well. I mean,
I'd be down for it.
Just see how strong we are.
I've said yes to a
I'm
skydive.
incredibly weak. I can only get stronger.
I didn't say no to the press ups. I
think I'd like to relight your fire.
Oh my God, that's
in the
amazing.
weights area, obviously.
All right, Gary Barlow. Calm
down.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. Where can people get in touch with you? Can people message you if they listen to this?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I have a Girls Get Lean page, but obviously I'm Suzy Shorrock as well. On Instagram, I've got a Girls Get Lean, as you know, and Suzy Online Coaching.
Yes.
But they can message me on any of those platforms, and also on my website www.girlsgetlean.com, and there's lots of contact snippets on there where they can get in touch. Click the get in touch button and get in touch with me if they need any help.
And I'll vouch for you as well. Suzy's super approachable. Like, she will talk to you about your problems and help you out. So please get in touch.
Yes, please.
This has been wonderful, hasn't it?
It's been wonderful. Becky told me how wonderful you were, and I agree.
I know, I'm going
It's been lovely. It's been really nice to meet you.
Super privileged to have you as a guest, and thank you. Please come on again.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it. It's been amazing.
It really has.
I think you're amazing too. And you, Verity.
Oh, thanks.
Right, so I'm gonna like sort of butt in here, because the original ending for this podcast we had right here included a couple of events that either aren't happening anymore or plans have changed. So it would have made no sense to leave that ending on the end of this podcast. What I am going to say is, though, the Shrewsbury Biscuit seems to be on the forefront of a lot of people's minds at the moment. We've had lots and lots of really cool emails, lots of great invites, lots of great messages. I want to say thank you to everybody that's thinking about the Shrewsbury Biscuit for things at the moment, because we are inundated with amazing opportunities, and it's because of this amazing town. So thank you so much to you guys for thinking about this show. I'm blown away. I really am blown away by by how thoughtful you guys are. So also thank you to Susan and to Verity for this podcast. I'm about to release this podcast right now as we speak. I've just finished editing it back and listening back to it. And how inspiring was that? It really is wonderful. I think it's one of the best podcasts I've released. I think that's a fair comment. I think it's really, really good. It's so poignant and so factful, and I think that's genuinely going to help a lot of people. So, really privileged to have had this interview that you just heard. Anyway, I don't want to keep you guys for too long. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you to my wonderful co-host Verity. Honestly, you've been absolutely killing it lately on this show, and I'm so proud of how well we work together and how well you've been developing as the show goes on. You've really just hit the ground running. So thank you, Verity. I'm feeling the love. I really am. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you've listened to this. If you listen to it for the first time, make sure you hit a follow or a subscribe, wherever it is, so that you get a notification every time we release a new podcast. Right. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.